What is the cause for the gas, fuel and power crises in the country?
SLIT 2022 main intake for student admission starts now.
Litrogas Sri Lanka has been unable to pay $8 million to unload a fuel shipment. The company said the cost of the consignment is $3 million. However, the supplier has been requesting for a higher payment due to other costs such as demurrage charges. $4,500 is paid as demurrage charges for every day that goes by without these stocks being unloaded. Litrogas says it has to pay $18 million as demurrage charges for the delays experienced thus far. Where does the problem lie? If Litrogas Sri Lanka had awarded a long-term tender for gas supply, would it not have helped in managing this crisis more efficiently? The long-term tender awarded by the company for the supply of gas had expired on the 28th of February this year. But the company had not made a decision to cancel the process of awarding long-term tenders by that time. Litrogas says unsuccessful efforts to establish a new company to purchase gas, the issues that arose after reducing the weight of gas cylinders and the gas explosions had delayed moves to award the tender. What is the situation at the moment? Although the long-term tender awarded to a foreign supplier has expired, Litrogas continues to purchase gas from the same company. When a supply agreement is signed, the supplier usually agrees to supply at least 10% more or less of the total consignment. Is gas being imported under this agreement? Higher costs cannot be prevented when spot purchases are made for gas. Last year, the chairman of Litrogas Sri Lanka criticized the supplier and blamed a mafia behind the transaction. Is a mafia truly in operation at the moment? What is the reason for the fuel shortage? Sri Lanka purchases fuel by making payments for a consignment once it reaches the country. This means Sri Lanka does not purchase fuel on a credit basis anymore. The Energy Ministry says it had released $42 million to unload a fuel consignment. Why are there queues for fuel when the minister, the ministry secretary and the chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation say there are enough stocks of fuel in the country?
The shortage across the country is due to sufficient fuel not being delivered to filling stations. Usually about 6,600 litres is delivered to a filling station, but due to the long queue, those filling stations run out of fuel in about 1.5 hours. The queues have doubled since yesterday. Many filling stations are closed without octane 92 petrol. They say they have unloaded 55,000 metric tons of diesel at Kolonnawa and Muthurajavala. Then there can't be queues, but they are rationing supplies. There are about 800 trucks to distribute fuel. The entire distribution chain is powerful. If this was running for 24 hours, there will be no need to stay in queues. If there is enough fuel, it means that the distribution chain is corrupt. If they are not distributing fuel to filling stations simply because they want to release stocks through their henchmen, then it means that the minister, chairman and the ministry secretary are lying. There are no stocks. They are distributing whatever little is left under a ration system. The people are continuing to stand in queues. Tell the truth to the people and save them from this crisis.
The problem we have today is that a fuel bowser that can normally supply fuel for about 1.5 or 2 days to a distribution center can only be used for 2 to 3 hours now. At the filling station near the eye hospital, I saw more cans and barrels than vehicles. A similar situation was witnessed in Demaragod as well. This has become a business now. Those without jobs purchase fuel while staying in queues and then sell it at higher prices. Even though we don't ban this, we need to pay immediate attention to this, especially in the Colombo district. We will discuss this and inform you.
කල්පනාවක් කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන එක පිළිබඳව අපි සාකච්ඡා කරලා පසුව දැනුම් දෙන්න.
සෙඩ් වලට ගිහලා සල්ලි දීලා පෙට්‍රල් ගහ ගන්න නැහැ ඩීසල් නැහැ.
ඉතින් අපි කල්පනා කරන්නේ
If we are unable to distribute diesel to all filling stations, we believe that we can meet the demand. We will have to face more issues if we try to stop that demand. If we have enough fuel in our storage facilities, this problem will not arise.
පිරෝම් පොල් සම්පූර්ණ තෙල් ගාවත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ඇති වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
අදපතේ ඉවර වෙන්න තව කොච්චර කාලයක් යයිද සෙට් වෙන්න?
හරියට තෙල් බෙදුම් දවස් දෙකකින් ඉවරයි. 20 වෙනිදා පස්සේ දිගටම තෙල් නැව 10ක් විතර එන්න තියෙනවා ඉන්දියන් ණය ආධාරයට.
The Sri Lanka Petroleum Private Tanker Owners Association called off its strike after a meeting with the Energy Minister Gamini Lokuge today. They demanded a higher fuel allowance as fuel costs have now risen.
ඒ ප්‍රශ්නවල පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නෙට අපි උත්තරයක් ලබනවා.
We said we will pay them to cover the losses they faced since fuel prices were increased from the 14th. We will calculate the losses that they faced and provide it by the 1st of April. Therefore, they agreed to call off the strike this afternoon and agreed to resume operations. Fuel costs. The Energy Ministry has said that fuel prices in the world market had gone up due to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Last Monday, the minister said the government had to pay an additional $15 million as fuel costs had increased to $130 per barrel in the world market. A price of a barrel of crude oil stood at $130 this morning. With the price increase in the market, we have to pay $50 million now. I think we should take a decision on the local fuel prices after discussing with the fellow members of the government. Fuel prices in the world market declined today. Brent crude oil, the global benchmark, dropped by around $99 today. WTI crude, the US benchmark for oil prices, dropped to $96.6 per barrel. Will the benefit of the price drop be passed on to the general public? The cost of fuel rose to $130. Now it's about $110. We increased prices based on the costs that were available in February. We will face losses even if we sell fuel in line with today's rates. What led to the electricity crisis? Power outages continue to be imposed across the country despite assurances that it would end on the 5th of March. The Ceylon Electricity Board says it will impose power outages for around 5 hours today. The power cuts will be distributed under 20 zones. According to the CEB, the national grid is losing 20% of its power supply as the Kalanitissa and the barge-mounted power plant at the Colombo port are currently not in operation owing to a lack of fuel. The CEB said it has taken steps to purchase electricity from an independent power producer at a higher cost to resolve the problem. If the shortage of fuel is causing a power crisis, how are independent power producers functioning? The CEB has drawn its attention on purchasing electricity without a tender process. Should the general public bear the brunt of such poor management?